Hey, so welcome back to my channel. We can see that we have both the hardtop PT Cruiser 2007, the manual. Only luxury it has is like the sunroof. Otherwise it's the base model, non-turbo, without really any other amenities. Well, power windows and power locks, but that's pretty much it. No fog lights, no cruise control. Nothing else that the other one has. And then there's the 06 convertible with the turbo, with the inserts in the hood versus no inserts. No lift kit on this one. You can't really tell. This one's jacked on some ramps right now, but there is a lift kit still on this one. You have to look closely though. See, it's in there. It's about a 1.2 inch lift kit. It's not much, but it's still throwing my camber off a little bit, so I need 4 camber bolts altogether instead of just 2. Alright, so I was in the middle of just doing an oil change for this one. It's at 233,000 miles right now, so it's like 3 times as much as this one, which this one's at like 71,000. But I noticed there was a lot of oil down in. There's oil pulled up in the number 1 spark plug. You can't even see the spark plug right now because it's so full of oil. It tells me the little circular rings, probably on all of them on this one, are all shot, and oil has just been getting in there and possibly evaporating, and that's why I have such little oil drained out in the drain plug this last time. And I was keeping up between oil changes by putting oil in every once in a while until I let a friend borrow it, and but I don't think the friend knew or realized to check that. I told him it didn't leak a single drop on the ground, and it doesn't. Neither of them do. But this one had all of its oil come out pretty much on the last oil change, all the used oil. But yeah, so I ran it a little low this time. I don't have a borescope or endoscope or videoscope, whatever you want to call it, to go check the inside the cylinders. So I'm gonna maybe just try to look down in there by eye, maybe, but I know I'm not gonna probably be able to see a whole lot. Well, I do have a little endoscope somewhere. Just all my vehicles are down right now. These two are both down. Well, this one's down because of legal reasons. I haven't had it registered yet or insured yet. This one's down because I need to do the valve cover and some other stuff that I might be doing in this video. And my Highlander's down outside, way out there. Can maybe barely see it right now, but the light's not too good. Because the wheel almost fell off with using those wheel spacers. It broke 2 studs in the extreme cold the other night, 2 nights ago. It was working fine, and it just started making a little noise. I thought it was the brake clips because I just changed those, and I thought, well, maybe it's just wearing in a little bit or something and it'll work itself out. Nope, it just kept getting worse and worse during the night, and then the wheel almost came off. I was like, I gotta stop work. I gotta end my shift of delivery driving. So this is the proper way to clean these grounds, if you can see it. Yeah, It's kind of hard to see in there, but I only cleaned a little bit underneath. Get my hoodie string out the way. I only cleaned a little bit underneath, right where the bolts go on to the body, which is usually actually painted from factory. So this will help get a little more contact. And then I cleaned everywhere in between every nut and terminal, and cleaned the bolts too. Well, the bolt on that one. This one's more, yeah, that's a bolt too. But then I cleaned these other terminals on the battery, and then everything got sprayed with a red colored terminal, battery protector terminal or whatever. Also the other one, and this was all done when I did the clutch and the transmission. Had to take the transmission out. And the starter has a ground that's kind of attached to the gasket, metal gasket bell housing plate. Yeah, you can't really see it from here, but it's down there. It's another ground wire. So yeah. Oh, there's something I just noticed. The spark plug gap on this one actually is 0.04. The one over there is the turbo version PT, which if I can get in focus, this one's actually 0.05. So that's something I'll have to check again. I did these spark plugs like a couple years ago, and the spark plug wires, and they're still pretty flexible, other than they're soaked in oil now. Let's get this focus to work. Okay. Other than they're soaked in oil now. So I'm going to try to clean that up as much as I can. It still was working really well, surprisingly. I don't know if you can see all that gunk in there, but there's quite a bit in there. Down in there. And I'm sure it's the same, actually, probably on all these. There was a little oil in this one, in the number 4 cylinder, closest one to the driver side. Actually, there was a little bit in each one, but there was the most.
Happy Christmas Eve!
Hey, happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, Steven.
Merry
Christmas. So the number 4 cylinder had the most, though, out of all of them. And so that one's probably going to need all the valve cover and stuff done too, that I'm going to do to this one, just as a, just to upkeep it, because it's, what, a 16-year-old car. So I think some of that rubber and stuff is getting hard and shrinking. My suspicion is on this one, the reason why I'm losing so much oil between oil changes, because it's not falling on the ground, so it's not coming out of the camshaft ring, like gaskets, or the crankshaft, like bearing gasket, whatever you call it, on either side. I don't think where it mates to the transmission, or where it comes out here on this side, because it would come out onto the ground, I would believe. And I don't see anything on the ground underneath this thing. So, other than, that I just emptied the oil out. And you can see there's not nearly enough oil in that oil pan. So, I think a lot of it's coming out through this valve gasket, and but mostly the spark plug, like O-rings. I know I'm not quite getting the terminology right, but I think it's pulling up in there and evaporating, because oil can evaporate over time with heat applied to it if there's nothing like enclosing it. So I think that's happening, as well as so it's multiple things. So I think it's also getting down past the valve stem seals, which is right under the springs, the valve springs. Sorry, think straight. Just woke up. But so those could be also another culprit. And I've got a chemical polymer called AT205 that was recommended by Scotty Kilmore and a number of other channels. I saw it, and from what I can see, it actually does work. It's not just snake oil. It actually can revitalize rubber and turn it from hard after years of aging. And it's mostly time that is harder on these rubber seals versus I think the heat and use. I think the heat and use isn't so much the problem. I think the problem was that this car sat for almost a year, and I'd start up every once in a while, but not enough probably. And I changed the oil, lasted 230,000 miles. So I've been doing it like every 3,000 on this one, and I've been using conventional and partial synthetic, but I'm going to switch to full synthetic after I do all the stuff I'm going to do to this top end. I really wish I could look into the cylinders. I guess I'm going to hope and pray that they're fine. These are strong engines. I didn't do the best in taking care of the top end. This isn't that hard of a job. But yeah, I'm just going to be doing that today. Going to be taking this off the plenum on the intake, off the intake manifold down here. Yeah, I don't have my handy dandy cameraman Jared today with me, so I'm probably gonna do this by myself, and as best as I can to show you guys, one-handed. So, all right, I'm gonna pause it and see where we end up next. All right, here we are. We're gonna get started. I think I have just about everything that I need to get doing this. I already detached my top of my air filter box. Well, that wasn't even really that tight. Well, I didn't notice an effect, but probably good to tighten that down a little more next time so there's no air leaks. Yeah, it's loose. It should just pop off, but one-handed is not as easy. Yeah, use the screwdriver. There we go. I'm just gonna set this on the ground. A lot of snow out here, but it's actually pretty warm right now. It's actually like mid-30s. So, yeah, that's gonna be nice for doing this job today. We're gonna see how far along I can get. I need this car working hopefully by tonight, because I got delivery driving to do later tonight. Scheduled about 9:30, so figure about 9:30 in the morning would be a good time to start working on this, so that I have a little while before I have to be anywhere. This will be my only vehicle that's working for the time being, because the Highlander over there is down right now. A wheel almost fell off, like I said, and that would not have been good or fun. So yeah, let's see which way is this going. Wrong way. Alright. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all this one-handed because one of these on this one I think is held in with a nut on the other side. And I don't remember which one it is. So I'm going to feel for that real quick. Let me see. I think it could be this one. No? Well, maybe not. I thought it was. But, okay. I don't know. I can't really remember. It's been a while since I last did this, like 2 years. 2 years ago, I did the spark plugs and the spark plug wires. The ignition coil, I think, is still fine. Seems to be running pretty good for a non-turbo version. Oh, this is the one that... Oh, interesting. What's going on there? It just pulled out the whole thing. Huh. Look at that. There's nothing holding that on. Huh. I wonder if there was a nut on that and it fell off. You know what I could do? I could throw some glue on that and stick the metal part back in. And then on this one, I could put some glue on this maybe. Stick it in there. Because it just has to bond to the hard plastic, I guess. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, doing this one-handed is not as easy. It's doable, but it's probably easier on this non-turbo one too, though. There's less stuff going on in here. If you remember, the throttle body on the turbo is like right here, so the plenum is slightly different shaped, and it angles this way more when it comes out, and then it connects to the turbo air intake tube right here, and it goes down, and then goes somewhere. I think under the transmission. I still have to figure that out. You can just pull it out. It's the neighbor. Come on. This one does not want to come out. It's still in there. Yeah, okay. Alright, so that's all that. That's loose. Oh, wow. This one's so much easier. There's like hardly anything holding this one on. And I don't think I have to detach that wire because it's going to go up with the throttle body, looks like. The throttle body doesn't look like it's really held on but much, but maybe like a screw or a bolt, just one, somewhere over there. I'm just gonna detach this hose to the PCV valve, and I bought a new one of these because anytime you're taking this valve cover off is a good time to replace one of these PCV valves. I'm gonna need to do that probably on the other one, the other PT Cruiser, because it could be that that's actually the part of the idle issue too. So let's look at what kind of parts I got today. You got the valve cover gasket with the O-rings between the spark plug. Got some little gasket maker stuff. to put on some of the corners and stuff of the gasket, the valve cover gasket. And some AT205 reseal, stops leaks fast. This stuff's actually really good, I guess. You can put it in your engine, transmission, power steering, differential, hydraulic systems, but it says not to use in brake system though. So hydraulic systems like shocks looks like it's showing. So any kind of hydraulic system other than brake system is it's saying. So evidently that stuff works pretty good. And then I should have one more little thing in this baggie. Right now it's stuck in the, let's see, where did it go? This is what I need right here. My little new PCV valve, which I don't know why it doesn't actually say it on there, but the receipt does say it on there. PCV valve on there. Yeah, you can barely see if it says valve. It's hopefully the same, but let me look at it before we get too far along. If I have to go back and get another one, I can. Fortunately, this PCV valve is right on top. That looks the same to me. And it makes a little noise. I don't know. I don't want to shake it too much. I don't know if that's really good for it. Alright, so let's see if this lifts up now. No, not quite. Not quite yet. I think we're hung up on just a little bit here under the throttle body. I think it's actually just one bolt back here, probably. I don't know what size it is. It feels big. I think it might be 13 millimeter. I got myself a 13 millimeter deep well, but I don't think I can fit the deep well in there. Yeah, it's 13 millimeter, but it's too tight for the deep well. So I'm gonna go get a regular 13 millimeter real quick. Alright, let's see. Alright, got myself a 13 millimeter regular socket. Let's put this on the, probably not gonna be able to put that automatic in. Let's just put it on the regular ratchet. Oh, I think I had a 13 millimeter wrench I could have just used over here. It's okay. Alright, let's get this. It's down in here. Sorry, my videoing's not maybe the best one-handed. Alright, let's see if that comes off now. It's coming. It's slow. Hold on. Come on. It wants to come out of there. There we go. Alright, one little 13 millimeter there, holding this. So it's just like 5 8 millimeters and one 13 millimeter on the non-turbo version. A lot less going on. I think I can lift that up enough to, yeah, that's out of the way. Get my bungee cord on this. I don't know how to do this with one hand. Here, let's see if I can video this while down here. It's kind of hard. Hold on. Oh, there's tons of oil right there. It's probably oil going in there. There's my bungee underneath the... Okay. The little bungee trick. Ugh, the only problem is... Sorry, I lost you there. Accidentally touched my phone. Oh. Yeah, some of these guys on YouTube are pretty good doing it one-handed. I think getting the little camera that attaches to your like hat, I can see why that would be so handy. Being able to show people the things you see more and explaining things to them, other people on YouTube, how to do this stuff while being able to have both your hands free. It's hard to keep both of these on here, so I'm just gonna take a pause on this video and do it myself off camera. So here I am. I got two of these out. These ones are a lot harder to get out on this car because I didn't put the boot grease in like I should have, and this one's actually totally dry. I figured maybe they would all be filled with oil, but evidently I'm seeing that I'm wrong there. Right now I'm trying to get this off. I have to get the clip out the way before I can push the thing down all the way, and then I can get that connector out. So that's what I'm working on right now. So these are so stuck in there right now. I am trying as hard as I can to get these out on this one, and it's so hard. I should have put some dielectric grease in there, but I'm just gonna take these off instead. Take the ignition coil off and see if I can't just pull up on the valve cover and get those boots out. Because man, they are in there so good. It is crazy. So I'm gonna try to, again, I'm trying to do this one-handed, so it's kind of hard. All right, get the tool on there. This just lays on top of the valve cover. It's just kind of attached there, even though it could be maybe put anywhere. This is like the most convenient spot, I guess, for it. Alright, so that's that. The bottom's not too dirty. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so I tried really hard pulling on these, so I'm kind of done with that. I think I'm going to try pulling up on the whole thing and see if I can't get this thing to come out. Alright, I'm going to go start taking these off all around with an 8mm. I'll come back in a bit. Alright, so I got the valve cover off. It's down here with its gasket. I destroyed 2 spark plug wires in the process of just trying to get it out. This one here was stuck like this. Literally the terminal is so stuck onto the spark plug top without that dielectric grease on there that I literally had to pull up on the valve cover and pry and pry and pry, and then it finally popped, broke both terminals right out of the spark plug boots. So one thing to note is be very careful when if you do that with a screwdriver like I did. I brought my flathead in here. Don't get too close to these camshaft journals. It looks like my one is kind of wore. Yeah, it's got some serious wear on that going on. Yeah, it's pretty gritty. Yeah. Let me see, I might see if I can find some sandpaper and fix that. That'll probably affect how far down that valve can go. That one looks like mainly the one that's wore the most. Here, this one's wore a little bit. This car does have 230,000 miles, so I mean, overall it's not too bad, I wouldn't say, but there's some wear on that one right here a little bit. That's definitely the worst looking one I see right off the bat. All these others, I feel a little bit, but I don't know. I mainly was taking this off just to put new valve cover and spark plug O-rings in. And I'll pause it from here because I need both hands to work. It's kind of hard otherwise. Alright, so I got the all the spark plugs out. They're laying up here in my tool bin area, and they're looking pretty good for the most part. Two of them anyways. One is pretty burnt away. I think it's because it's got real hot. I used iridium ones before, and I think you should just probably use copper like the OEM manufacturer recommends. This one is past spec now. This is the one that was really oily. It doesn't look too bad on the electrode, but you can't really see very well on the camera here. But I'm just gonna get new ones. I have to get new spark plug wires now anyway because I busted two of them. And I'm gonna get a new camshaft position sensor because I took it off, but I actually didn't need to take it off. And I should have just left it on because it was still working, but it has a little gasket on it, and I really don't want oil leaking out there because I'm trying to stop all oil leaks right now. So next step is emery cloth or something, this little light sandpaper onto this knob of this camshaft spot right here on this valve, above that valve or lifter, and on this one, and just any others. And also, I'm going to be using this AT205 reseal now. I'm going to be putting it down and try to get it to where it goes into the valve stem seals. But it's a little more difficult than it might appear because I can't just pour it right down onto it. So I may end up having to just practically empty most of this bottle on the top end of this engine, but eventually that will also go into the rest of the engine and maybe revitalize any other seals that need revitalized. So it'll be good maybe for other parts of the engine too. I'm going to probably save a little bit for the transmission. I just redid the clutch and put new transmission fluid in there. I didn't touch the gears or anything, but there is a seal I think in there between the clutch, the modular clutch kit, and the gears where the clutch shift bearing or whatnot is. That when you push on the pedal, it pushes on that, and then that pushes on the springs of the modular clutch kit, which then engages or disengages your gears. So here, let's go ahead and capture. I'm gonna see if I can't do this with the camera. I'm just dumping it down in there. I don't know that's actually getting on the valve stem seals. It's kind of hit or miss right now, but I'm just trying to get in there. I'm just going from the top at this point because it's kind of hard. Alright, I lost some back dripping off the bottle. It came down out onto the bell housing of the transmission. But a lot of it came out and went down into here. I still have a lot left to this bottle. So I think maybe I'll pour some more, I guess. It's kind of hard to know if this is getting on the valve stem seals directly or not. But we're gonna do our best. Because I want it to go right on those. Because I think that's where possibly our big part of the leak might be. Yeah, so next is to put the gasket and the spark plug boot rings back on. And I have a little bit left in here. I'll throw some of it into the transmission. And then I guess the rest into the crankcase. Again, it'll go right back into here, but I wanted to apply those directly on top of those since I'm taking the valve gasket and since I'm taking the valve cover off anyway. So yeah, all right, now I got to go to the parts store, pick up some new spark plug wires, and a new camshaft position sensor, which those things are now more expensive. It was like 36 bucks. With a discount at Advance Auto, it's a little less. There's like a 15% off coupon using the app. And you can find them cheaper on eBay. I did buy one on eBay. I have it somewhere. I don't know where it's at right now though. So honestly, I just want to get another one, and I'll have that one wherever it is as a backup, I guess. Because right now I have 2 PTs, and those camshaft position scissors can go out after a little while sometimes, but alright, so that's all for now. Alright, so I got the valve cover gasket pretty cleaned off. There's a little remnant, but not anything I'm too concerned about. It'll seal, I believe. And here's the valve cover. I got the new gasket on, and I put some black, ultra black gasket maker, oil resistant gasket maker. Oops, let me clean this lens. Seems a little dirty. Is that better? Yeah. So I got the 4 corners I touched up with that gasket maker. That's pretty typical. And then I put a little more right here. Just a lighter layer, just to kind of hold the gasket in place. And it seemed to work. And then I put these are the main things I think were leaking. Well, especially one of them. And I don't think you're supposed to use the gasket maker, or I don't know if it matters, but I don't think you're supposed to use the gasket maker on this. So I'm not gonna put it on there, but yeah, soon it'll be all back together. I got new spark plugs. I just got the copper core kind, some spark plug wires, a new camshaft position sensor, but these are 0.4 or 0.04 gap, so I'll have to check that. But all right, I'll continue videoing here in a bit. All right, so I torqued all these to 80 inch-pounds. I started here, went into this one, back to the back there, back to the back there, back to the back there, and then got this last one Click. All right. And I just took off my PCV valve, and I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like it's clogged. This one's a lot nicer sounding. There was a gasket already on there, but I'm gonna clean that off. And I didn't get a gasket with this, so unfortunately I am gonna have to use a little gasket maker. But it doesn't look like oil's been leaking out of that anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Alright, so I got it pretty much back together. Just got one little plug here left. There we go. Click. Let me get that also tightened real quick. Let me find, what did I do with it? There it is. Before we get too far, I want to make sure I get this tightened this time. Alright, so it took me a little bit because I accidentally put the camshaft position sensor upside down. I undid it. I don't think it hurt the gasket since it hasn't been heated up yet. It did wear, it looked like it came off a little bit on the head, but I think it's fine. So, alright, that should do it. I got it all back together. Alright, all these are in. All these 8mm. I just used the same gaskets on those again. Got my new spark plug wires in. Got the power steering pump attached back. No leftover bolts or nuts. That's always a good sign. In our little tool bin up here. Alright. I think we're good to go to shut this hood and turn it on, see how it sounds. Alright. Alright, let's sit down on that. Alright, here we go. Alright. Fresh oil change. New valve cover gasket. New spark plug wires, dielectric grease this time, new camshaft position sensor, new PVC valve. She's idling good. She was actually idling pretty good even with the low oil, which was amazing. See, I got the airbag light. So next is I'm gonna take this off and get to the clock spring and redo that. And I don't like the new turn signal thing I found on eBay. It works good there and it's solid. It just has a lot of wiggle. It feels kind of cheap. So this one feels nice though. And the windshield wipers work real good. Here, I'll just show you. Yeah, look at that. That used to be a major issue with this thing, and now it works totally fine. Even if I push on that, it does nothing. Not sensitive at all. The other wiper arm would turn the wipers a little bit if I just pushed on it here, and I had to keep flicking it. But it wasn't just the wiper control arm that was the issue. I think it was the grounds possibly, as well as could have also had to do with the tip-em. So I had that, I replaced that too. So yeah, I might be putting the old one back on, cleaning the old one up and put it back on, because it doesn't click as hard, but it doesn't have wiggle room like that, and it doesn't feel as cheap of plastic. So for some reason I just don't like the one I found on eBay or Amazon for that. So now I'm going to put the clock spring in, see if I can have a working horn again on this one. All right. And that does it for today. Have a good one. God bless.